lovelies. So for this video, I thought I'd sit and do some cross stitch. I've had quite a few people now ask me to do this. Just peaceful, just chill, you know. Just sit and do my cross stitch. Sit and talk through the pattern, like crossing off, how to read this, and basically how to do it as well. I've got all my colours here, all the different shades with all the different symbols down the front. So yeah, I can talk you through all of that. But yeah, just I suppose mainly the sound of the thread being pulled through the actual cross stitch. As you can see, this is what I've done so far. I've done quite a lot of it, to be fair. I've been doing this now for a few years, okay, just to put it into perspective. Don't get me wrong, I'm not doing it every single day. I go through phases, like for example, for the last 2 weeks, I'd been doing it, like, I was say every evening, but if like I was working until 9:30 last night, so I didn't do any last night, but yeah, that's what I like to do in the evening or the weekends if I don't have any plans. This is quite nice just to, you know, because it just, it fills the time, but you feel like you're doing something constructive in a way. I don't know. As you can see, there's a little bit of dirt on the actual fabric and stuff, but that's unavoidable, really. I'll be sewing over this bit anyway, so you won't see any of that once it's done. But around the edges and things like that, I mean, that's just from where I've held it. But equally, you know, it just, like I said, I've been doing it for a few years now, so it gets, you know, put in a drawer that's maybe not the cleanest, but you don't realise. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, so I feel quite proud of what I've achieved so far. So I passed the halfway mark last weekend, I think it was. So just to show you the pattern, for example. So when I start a pattern, I always make a copy of the pattern itself. So this is the one that came with the actual, this is the original, and I photocopied it. So it's the same size, but as you can see, I've started taking, I don't know why, I can't remember why I did that, but I did, because I was using this one, so it doesn't really make sense, but okay. Just a couple of reasons as to why I'd make a copy. One, because as you can see on here, I've taped it as I've gone along, because you fold it, you know, when you store it, it's folded in half, and as you get further along, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not, but the pattern, the actual symbol starts to wear away because the paper starts to get really quite fragile. So, for example, on this side, fortunately, it seems to be all with it, but because I've taped it as I've gone, so that it's just strengthens the crease, if you like. But as you can see, it's actually torn there. The other reason that once you've done all of this part, you have to go over with the black, and you have to do thick lines all around the edge of the design to define everything, and it really does make the difference. Like, it's all part of the pattern anyway, because it's all around like the pumpkins and the edges of the rocks and stuff like that. So if you've highlighted everything on here, it's actually, as you can see, not as clear. That's okay, but like, this is a really intricate pattern, so it's just like finding out where all the little lines are and everything. It just makes it a bit more difficult, and like crossing it off, you can't highlight something you've already highlighted, which is why I'm really annoyed that maybe I lost that one for a period of time or something, I don't know. But it just means that you can go along and you can highlight those bits as you go, and you're not getting confused as to what you've done or what haven't done. So yeah, that's why I make a copy. Equally, if you lose one, you have got backup. Unfortunately, I haven't got the picture of what it's going to look like finished. I did have it, but I don't know where it's gone. I have an idea where it could be, but actually it's quite fun doing it as you go along without having the picture to reference, because I've done as much as I have now, you get to know what symbol is what colour and what it's, you know, roughly. It's not like it's, when you're first starting off, it's like, oh, is that right, is that not, like, but yeah, because I've been doing it for a little while on this one, you do get to learn if it's the right shade or not. But so the other thing I could show you about it is, this is the thing I get quite interested about it. It's really sad. So as you can see, like, I've done all this part of the pattern, and I kind of like work down to start off with, and then start working across, and then it's kind of, yeah, like that. Because I've finished this half, and now in this half, as you can see, I'm working. So I work down and then up and then down and then up, and I'll just keep doing that until I get to the end of the pattern. So at the moment I'm working on this bottom corner here, which is like this bit, and then like I use a colour. So this is what I was going to show you. This here is your key, if you like. Yeah, colour key. And it says, so use 2-ply, if you can see that at the top. So all of these symbols correspond with these symbols, and they all align with a colour. And it says use 2-ply, so that means any of these symbols with these numbers and stuff, you have to use 2 strands of one of these, which I can show you better when I do the bit of colour, but so use 2 strands. With this part of the key, it's 1-ply. So these are all the same colours that are in this list, obviously a smaller selection of those colours, but different symbols. The point is they're 1-ply, so you use 1 strand. As I said, I'm on the bottom section here, and I've got my little needle. As you can see, it's kind of wearing it's a bit tarnished now because I've used it so much. But yeah, I mean, when you buy a cross stitch set, it usually comes with the 2 needles. I did lose one at some point. I mean, my mum does a lot of cross stitch, knitting, crochet, and God knows what. So I mean, if I did lose this one as well, I'm sure I could get another one from her. But anyway, okay. So what we need to do is look at what part of the pattern we want to work from next. So I want to do this bit down here. I don't know how clear it is for you. So it's like a weird circle symbol with a line through it. There's only 5, in the box, but I can look at this chart here, scan down for that symbol. I know it's going to be, I know which one it is, but I'm just going to show you. It's this symbol right here, which is 801 darkest brown. So then we go on to here. Now you can either scan through the symbols or just look for the colours. Now you have to make this chart. When you get the set, you get the piece of card, but all the threads come in this big bundle. So you have to go through this list, and you have to you have to work out which shade is what for this card, and like you have to write the symbols on, write the colour and the number, or just the symbol and the number, but and then put the colours on. So anyway, so as you can see on here, that is the symbol 801 darkest brown. So we want to get a piece of thread, or a chunk of thread, and as you can probably tell, I've already used this before, so I've already got a piece of thread on here. So we just put that to one side, and this is 2 strands of thread. Okay, so on the big thing here, when you take it off, the thing is usually I think it's 6 pieces of thread together. So you just need to separate 2 pieces. So something you can see, yeah, so like that. together, I tend to see which end is the, yeah, so that one is a little bit frayed at the end, just because that was obviously what was used last time, not the cut end. So I tie this end in a knot. Now everyone does this bit differently. My mum doesn't tie knots in the end of hers, she just feeds it through a couple of other bits. So each one, I do a double knot at the end, and then this end you just have to lick the end, moisten the tip, and feed it through the needle. So this can be a bit tricky sometimes, especially if my needle is a bit worn. So if I had a newer one, I think that would probably feed through quite nicely. But yeah, okay. So we've now threaded our needle, and we want our pattern. Like I said, we're doing these 4 or 5 bits. I didn't make that mistake twice now. Oh dear. Okay, so that starts in the bottom corner of, what was it? Those A's, so is it the third one up, I think it is, isn't it? No. It's the next one in. Okay. So, I don't know, my camera doesn't, I need to get a different lens because it doesn't zoom in when it's too close up. So, it's going to be a bit tricky. Basically, so I've found the hole that I need to thread it through. I then turn it over, and that's what the back looks like if you didn't know. And I thread it through one of the previous bits that I've done, just to make sure that it's really in there. And then we want to go through this one here. We always start from the top right and feed into the bottom left. So the next colour, we'll start off with doing this bit. This looks quite a bit unnerving because it's everything looks the same. That's where it's like, it can be a bit intense, but I know they're twos, so I'll start with the twos, and then maybe do some hearts. I don't know, because that looks like that's pretty much just hearts. But then when you really look at it, you can see a few twos sort of dotted about in there, which is that's where you think, oh, I really need to pay attention to that bit. I can't be messing that up. So apologise for the cars going past. So 2, that's dark green, and because it's a number 2, which is on the top of here, that means that it's a 2-ply, which I've got some of these out anyway, but where are we? There we go. Okay, it doesn't look like there's that many 2s to do, but I don't know for definite. So that one, that's quite thin at the end there. Could be how to unpick it. If you unpick things, if you've sewn it and then unpicked it and then re-sewn it and have it, can thin the end of the wool out. With the thread, sorry, not the wool. Okay, so at the end and feed it through. That went through nicely, that one. Okay, where are we? So bottom, so it's starting off with a half stitch. So I'm just going to find my bit to feed it through. So we've got a bit of a, here we go, okay. Start with our half, and then we're going to go to the side again. And we're going to do 2 up apparently. 1, 2. Where's the next one? There, okay. So we'll do those. And then I am just going to cross those few bits off because we don't want to get confused as to where we're at. Okay. Right, so I think next we'll go up to the next bit. So it's up, and then how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 3 and 4. Now I can see on it there's one like to the left, or no, we'll come back on that one, I think. Let's just make sure we get all of them. There's those 4, and there is another one. Oh, there's another 2. Okay, that's good. Right, so that is down to the left, down to the right, sorry, and then diagonally on. Sorry. Oh dear. What did he say, dear? Gosh. That is how the conversations tend to go with me and my sister. Okay. Just any opportunity, there's a Harry Potter quote thrown in there. Or a Friends quote. Not so much anymore, it's more Harry Potter quotes, but Friends does get thrown in there occasionally. Depends on the moment and the conversation of what's happened. But right, oh, get my needle stuck now. Okay, oh, okay. Just snip that off. I hope you find this relaxing because, or calming or whatever, triggering, I think that's probably the better word, isn't it? Because I know that, like, for me, the other thing I love is fabric cutting. So when my mum was making curtains, the sound of the scissors cutting fabric, and I'd love to do a video of that, but I just don't have any fabric. I could get some cheap, but I'm hoping she's going to have some offcuts. I keep meaning to ask her. You just think just some offcuts of fabric that doesn't matter if they get cut up or not, but to be honest with you, you use most of the fabric when you're doing stuff. You don't really have much in the way of offcuts, but yeah, I just love the sound. Like, for me, it's such a lovely sound because you have to take your time and make sure you're cutting in a straight line, and you know, I'm aware that my chin keeps popping at the screen. I'm sorry. Oh dear. Nobody needs to see that. Okay, right. I think we go on and do hearts next. Okay, where's my needle? This one's a little bit tangled. Oh, I'm hungry. I'm sorry if my stomach rumbles. And you can just feel that it's going to rumble any minute. It's just annoying. Just had a cookie and a cup of tea. Should be that hungry. Right, let's do that end. Yeah, so I haven't got a lot of thread in this one, so I'm just going to finish this bit off, do what I can, and then move on to the next bit, because I find it boring if you're doing block colours. I would much sooner do a little bit of one colour and then move on to the next, which I think is probably quite normal, but my mum's one is stunning, the one she's been doing, which I'll take a picture of it, I think, when she's done it, and I'll share it with you. Hers is like a basket with beautiful flowers coming out of it. There's purples, I think it's just purple flowers, but I can't remember what sort of flower it is. I think it's lavender, I think it's something else. No, there's purples and there's white flowers. Anyway, but it's like a wicker basket. These flowers are coming out of it, and you've got this beautiful pale background, but the entire thing is like almost the same colour. Like, the background is just different shades of. So you've got like this one is ecru. It's like this, but then you've got a slightly darker shade or a slightly lighter or even darker than that. So it's literally like 3 or 4 colours. And this thing is, I literally think it's double the size of this. It is humongous. But she's nearly finished it because she spends so much time on it, and she's quicker than me. Like, she's just quicker at it. The reason she went for that one, she said, was because there's no black outlining on it. Which I thought, oh, that's such a good idea. However, I would rather have black outlining than just loads of really plain colours. I like this one because of the fact that it's exciting. You know, there's lots of different things going on. You are chopping and changing colours. Like, you've got a lovely little jar of jam there. You know, I think that's really cute. I just think that's what I would much prefer to sit and do than, yeah, than just do loads of the same old colour. Because actually, when you're doing the black outlining, you know, actually it really brings it to life. It makes it 3D. Like the other one I've done, which I think is only over there, which I could go and find. You know, that was a real fiddly one. I did the black outlining on it, and because I was dreading doing it, I put it off for a long time, and it wasn't that bad when I was doing it. But the way it looked when it was finished, it was just like, oh my goodness me, that was so worth the pain and, you know, the aching of doing it. But yeah. Right, where are we? 4. So then we're going to go up to the left. And 1 and 2. So I'm going to come up to the right, go up. There's a lot of noise, I'm sorry. We're going to do another. Come back down. And do that half. Come on. There we go. Where's that? Come on. There we go. There we go. Didn't plan that one out very well. Down there. Number 2. Right. Let's take those bits off. I went up there, didn't I? Yep. There we go, all the way down. There we go. I just want to move my the ring over, just because it's getting a bit too close to the bottom. That's quite cool, I think. Quite proud of what I've done so far. I'm just going to slide it over. You don't want it too close to the edge of the bottom of the fabric because then it would just slip through. It's probably about there maybe. Just grab your back again. Maybe there. It's probably more sensible. Okay, you don't want it to be too close to the bottom of your where you're working because then the inner ring is obviously much smaller than the outside space, so you'll be trying to poke the needle through and it's going to be banging on this bit. So just pop that over. Yeah, so I would think about there would be good enough. So then just slide it over, tighten it up a fair bit, and then just carefully tug the fabric through. Like I said, be careful of these bits because you don't want to stretch that, and you don't want to affect the or interfere with the what you've done already. So it's always better to sort of focus your pulling that through on the bit that you haven't worked on There's a fly buzzing around, which is really irritating me. Okay, where are we? God, I keep saying that, don't I? I'm sorry. Where are we? Sound like Alice in Wonderland. Oh dear. Okay, right. Let's do that bit. We're going to come down. So that's much easier now to work from. Right, I think I'll do that one there. And then we'll go up into this bit. And we'll just go up. Okay. I do like this brown and green together. I think that looks really quite pretty. Just nice deep colours. There you go. Right. So the next one, so we go right up, and then the one before the top is only a half stitch. Okay. We're almost out of thread now anyway. Convinced I'll actually be able to come back down on that. It's one of the, like, my least favourite parts is when you're running out of thread. You want a last bit of strand because it just gets stressful. Because it's like, oh, I don't want to waste the thread, so you use as much as you can, but you want to use it without unthreading the needle, because that's one of the problems. But you want to use as much as you possibly can. Ooh, nearly. Gosh, that's gonna... There we go. Let's see if we can get to the bottom, shall we? I'll probably cast it off after that. See, it's just done it. Oh god. Come on. I've got 2 or 3 stitches left to do. I know we can make it. I think positive thoughts. That's what I should tell myself every day, but it never works. Okay. Okay, go on. We're in. Let's come on, that might be easy. Right, let's take that off. Okay, so I did pause, and I've done a little bit since, So I was down here before, wasn't I? We're now a little bit further up. I've done a bit more of another jar of, looks like it could be blackcurrant jam or something, I don't know. But I'm up here now, which looks to me like it's going to be more corn, potentially, but we'll see. Because I'm using this nice limey pale green, and we're going to start up here. Okay, so you can see that it's the symbol with an O, 0, light green it's just described as, but we're going to do, just cast it in. So we've threaded it through. I'm just going to come down here. It's a slow process, as you would have gathered by now. I don't actually manage to get much recorded. A lot of it is, I think you probably spend more time changing colours than you do actually doing the cross stitch, but that's just how it works. Okay, well that looks like a half, because it is a half. Okay. Alright, come on. There we go. Yeah, so sometimes it does not. If the piece of thread is too long, it gets a bit tangled, as you just saw me just unknot it. I think you did, didn't you? I just pull that through. So that can happen when you, if you do it too quickly. So that's probably a bit too fast, but so what was this? 1, 2, 3, 3.5 again. Okay, that's easy. Okay, so the next one we're going up there, so that's another 2.5 one. So, a little insight for you. I have decided to learn to play the guitar. Something I've always, like as a kid, my dad's always played the guitar, my brother's always played it. And it's something that I, as a kid, would pick up every now and again and think, oh, I really want to do that. But then would sort of get a bit lazy with it, and when my hands started hurting, it was just like, oh, this isn't worth it, and put it down. But would think, oh, I just wish I could play it, and you think, well, everything takes time to learn. Anyway, so I've been really, I've always been really into music anyway, but certainly more recently it's just, I don't know, I think I've just been, I'm listening to My Chemical Romance an awful lot now, and it's kind of led me on to different artists that I didn't know of before, like when I used to listen to them when they were around still. Yeah, and so it's kind of made me think, oh my god, do it, just have a go. And I love learning new things anyway, and I'm not a very social person at all, so for me it's kind of, if I get bored I find myself learning new things, whether I stick with it or not, I give it a go kind of thing. Anyway, so I feel very keen this time, and my brother very, very, very kindly, because I don't live at home anymore and he lives at university, he has actually temporarily given me his first ever guitar. It's only a cheap one, it's nothing like expensive, or you know, it's just a basic guitar which he learned to play from. But he said that obviously he wants it back at some point, but he said that I can have it to learn from, which I am extremely grateful for. So yeah, I'm thinking potentially I might try and do some vlogging with learning don't know how well that will work. It's just an idea that I had, because my vlog channel, I never really know what to post, because like I said, I'm not a very social person, so I don't exactly have the content to put out. My mum's attitude is, oh, you should just do makeup. I'm like, my makeup skills are very basic, enough that I can cover what hideous marks on my face I need to. Nothing extravagant or anything, so not very. It doesn't interest me enough to want to do as content, if that makes sense. So I don't know. We'll see, because I don't know how exciting that will be for you, and or how painful for your ears it would be. So that's if you're interested in my vlog channel. But either that will give me some tips on what I could do for you, what you'd like to see. Maybe you want to see my makeup routine, as simple as it may be. Maybe you'd be keen to know the basics. I do not know. I am just rambling at this point, so I apologise. What do we want? Gold 783. That one there, and again it's one strand because that symbol is from the one ply section. Come on. Oh, and on another note, I also got the rest of my PlayStation games. And I think it's going to have to be another 2 videos instead of just 1, because there was a lot more than I was expecting. But I think, like, more than I used in my first PlayStation game haul video. So I think we'll have to do 2, which is good, because that, you know, makes it more interesting, I think, maybe. But there is a complete mixture there. I mean, right from Medal of Honor, Need for Speed, Sly. I mean, oh my gosh. So there's some old ones in there. But we'll see. Alright, come on. 1 ply should not be harder to thread than 2, so please work with me. There we go. Okay. Right, so it'll be in that corner, and that starts off with a half stitch and then goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another half stitch and just 1. Okay. Nice and easy. Pop that in there. There's been loads of stuff going on recently, which you've probably seen, especially if you were a fan of MCR, about the Jonas Brothers saying they were rehearsing. Personally, I don't believe that they will get back together, because I think it's just not, as disappointing as it is, I think, matter of factly, they are all doing different things now. Gerard is very different to how he was when he was in the band, and actually in one of his interviews recently regarding the Umbrella Academy, he'd said that he's very camera shy now, and you could see that he was quite uncomfortable in that interview. So I just think there is no way that they'll be getting back. I mean, it'd be amazing if they did, but I think they will at some point. I'm sure they will, because they were so good. And I just think if you spent that long in a band, like 12, was it 12 years? I think it's 12 years. You don't spend 12 years in a band creating incredible music to then never ever do anything ever again, you know? That's my opinion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. And Frank, like, he's in, is it Frank Iero and the Future Violence at the moment, which I'm not too keen, I'll be honest. I listened to a little bit of it, but I preferred him with The Celebration, the Stomach Aches album. I really like that one, that's good. But again, it's very different. I think it's probably a bit of a Marmite situation. You either like it or you really don't. I'll just cut that. I will keep that because you get the odd bit where there's just a stitch to do. That can be quite handy. It's a bit too much to waste. It's an annoying amount to have left actually, but you know. Right, so I'm just going to feed my needle in here so we don't lose it. Done that enough times, let's put it that way. Okay, yeah, so this is where we're at, okay? Nice. Okay. See you soon.